Welcome to Built for This, the podcast where real estate meets real life skills. Hosted by Andrea Lane and Alyssa Bicar, each episode features investors turning their unique edge into long-term rental success.
Hello and welcome to the Built for This show. I am your co-hostess, Alyssa Bicar, the consultress, here with the fabulous, the fearless real estate investor, Andrea Lane, my partner in crime, as well as mentor to many. Andrea, who do we have for him today?
So today we have Daniel Zamata, who is originally from Colombia and actually resides in Colombia and the United States. So he invests in the United States, in Oklahoma, and in Ohio, which is pretty diverse. So I'm really interested in hearing more about what you do, Daniel. But my first question is my favorite. Why'd you get into real estate?
Absolutely, Andrea and Alyssa, thank you so much for having me on the show. I guess the reason why I started in real estate is because, if I turned 40 or before I was about to turn 40, I realized that I really didn't come from any money. And I needed to secure a future for myself and my family. And from all the different options that I had laid out there, I realized that real estate was one of the most secure assets that anyone can invest in. And I come from a property management background. I started doing property management for STRs, short-term rentals, and I started back in 2012. And Airbnb back in the day was only, a handful of years old. So I decided, with all this expertise that I've accumulated over the course of these last, I would say maybe close to 15 years, I was getting closer to the real estate as an asset. And I decided that that was the path that I wanted to embark on in order to secure a better future and something that I was very interested in. I found fascinating. So, that's why real estate it's there.
I love building a legacy for your family and I hope you're trying to get some freedom away to do what you want. And clearly traveling from one country to another gives you a little bit of freedom there. So that's good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what do you love most about real estate?
Well, there's very, I would say, profound part of real estate that motivates me very much, and that's really actually two things. One is that I've always said that I wanted to get my hands dirty and I wanted to step away from the computer and not having to work at a desk anymore. And so doing all this manual work and fixing things and like carrying my tools with me, that's something that I enjoy very much. And so I wanted to really I wanted to be at the property, fix this, fix that, see because the contractor is working on some other stuff, and at the same time learn from them. That's one part that I find very, very fascinating about real estate. But also, when from the short-term rental perspective, when you acquire a property and you put it out on Airbnb, yeah, the returns are great. Yeah, you're making more than in terms of the cap rate that you would do with any other type of investment. But the experiences side of thing that you create on that people that are visiting your place and that are staying over at your place, that's something that I find really, really fascinating. Something that I've been doing for 15 years, and I consider myself an expert on all things property management. And when you're looking at the long-term rental side of things, when you become a landlord, giving the opportunity to people to have a place that they can call home. That's also that I try to be a really cool landlord. I've gone through the experience of having to lease apartments in New York. It's not the friendliest place to rent a property when you're a student and you're very short in budget. Like they don't care.
It's not like the friendliest place on the planet.
No,
period.
it's not. They don't care. I remember
Hey, I have to take a little bit of offense. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I lived there for 40 years. We
That's
do
exciting.
care about people. It's just these new people who seem to come in and out, and they're not New
It was
Yorkers. Now, I
Andrea.
have to say, I haven't been there in 10 years. Don't know what it's like, but
Oh
that's
man.
where my heart is. So.
Listen, we're both New York expats at this point, okay? So like chill it. Uh Heart of gold. People go to the ends of the earth for you, but like there's this gruff exterior. It's like, who the hell are you anyway? So like I totally get the leasing the apartments in New York and how like that formed how you were like, oh, I now have contrast to how I want to create an experience for people. And like at the end of the day, we always say on the show that like real estate is a people business. So like what I'm hearing so far is like I wanted to better my life. And forgive me, Dan, if I'm putting words in your mouth, but this is like the part where I'm like, let me synthesize with you. Let's open it up a bit. Is like I didn't want to sit at a desk and a computer anymore, so I wanted to do something physical. I wanted to be part of the transformation process. I wanted to be part of the experience for people staying in homes and in short-term vacation spots.
Yeah.
So can you wind us back just a little bit at life before real estate? You said computer and desk, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like a property manager, or does it? Is that reflective of your property management roles and position, or was it something else that you were kind of
Yeah,
looking from?
actually, yeah, thanks for the question. I actually think that has a lot to do with the being behind the desk when you're starting on like doing property management, and especially for short-term rentals, the way that I was doing it when I started doing property management. Yeah, there was a part of me that had to go out, and I was doing greeting guests at the property. Before, back in the day, there wasn't any of these smart locks that you would just give a code to a guest when they were about to check in. You would have to go, give him the keys. I would do the cleanings myself. It was either I paid $100 to a housekeeper, or maybe I can just keep these $100 and, make that up for rent at the end of the month, because that's good money when you're a student and your first or a first hire, recently graduated out of college or university, especially in New York. But building a company, I was more than a property manager. I was building a company. It was a startup. It had a brand. I was hiring people. I was building on a reputation around the name. So there was a lot of meetings with developers on like building a product, a tech product, a PMS that we developed ourselves, that we had the opportunity to sign a preferred partnership and host agreement with Airbnb directly. That gave us access to the API. So, and a lot of other integrations that we were able to build when we were creating the property management company. So yeah, I mean, there's a good chunk of time that I was sitting behind the desk, and that again, I wanted to free myself from in a way.
Yeah. Okay. So, dude, gives me a whole like more broad picture of who you are and kind of what you've done. I love the entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm developing something that incorporates and integrates multiple different disciplines and tools and technologies. It feels like, I mean, I'm going to ask this question, but I'm like, I think I already know the answer. But what do you feel is your unfair advantage that gives you a unique edge today in your real estate investment business? Does it have anything to do with any of that?
I think it has to do a lot. It has to do a lot with all that. But if you were to ask me, I think it's my ability to put myself in out of my comfort zone, I would say.
Mm.
And this is, I think, something very broad, and that, of course, I can maybe, you know, bring down and but that's really what I feel like makes me special from what I've seen in other people that are maybe either starting or had already started, but aren't really scaling when it comes when it's about real estate. So yeah, I think it's
Oh,
that. Mhm.
yeah, man. Growth edge, discomfort, comfortable
Yeah,
being uncomfortable. That is the stuff of champions.
yeah.
Andrea, do you have
Yeah,
something to add?
no, I personally, I hate property management, so I admire people who really get into it and like to do it because I need good property managers. So I know the benefit. Kudos and bringing that skill to your own properties and the fact that you like to work on them. As you grow, you may grow out of that one, but it's not just to work on a few properties, and then you grow and you're like, I don't even see my properties anymore. So
I mean, that's the scale difference though, right? When we have
100%.
a handful or we've got a boutique real estate investment business, and that's where I am right now too, Dan. A lot of hands-on, a lot of like managing all the details, but like Andrea's got a portfolio of hundreds. So when I talk to her and she goes,
Wow.
they called me about taxes, but which parcel, which property? And someone said utilities, but the utility company, there's hundreds of properties with the same company, and they won't tell me which account it is. I mean, so thank you, Andrea, for like segueing into our next season of questions here. And it's like, what has been your biggest struggle or challenge lately, Dan?
Well, there's so many that I can't really think of just one.
Oh,
Um, I would say, yeah, I'd say sourcing deals. And I think this is very common, and I'm sure Andrea, you being a seasoned real estate investor can relate, and at least, I mean, anyone at any level can relate. It's not about investing in real estate. At the end of the day, there's multiple ways that you can have access to capital, hard money, uh, different type of loans, low down payments. So, but at the end of the day, finding the right deal, finding that the perfect property that you would be seeing good cash on cash and cap rates, that's really where I feel like that it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, I think acquisitions is always the roughest road, right? You have to be able to market for the houses to find them, and then you have to do a really good job of underwriting them to make sure you're buying right. And
Yeah.
so that's, when I teach people that, and we go through, a 14-week process, I spend two or three sessions just talking about, if you don't do it right up front, you've lost your deal. Like, you have to make sure your numbers are correct. So you have to find it and then make sure it's and validate it. And I would say, no matter what level you are in the business, that's probably the biggest struggle you're going to have throughout your career.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And you're not alone either. You're right. We do hear that quite a bit as, this is where are the deals right now? Everything's
Yeah.
got thin margins. And, they say that a deal's a deal when it's right for you, and it may not be a deal for you, but it could be the perfect deal for somebody else. So getting really clear on why you want what you want it to do for you, and where it fits in your overall plan in your real estate investment business is humongous.
Right.
And so treating your investments as a business model, knowing that you have that entrepreneur spark and that you've built and done this before, how does that translate into your strategy that you build out for your real estate investment portfolio as a business model?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep things organized here. When you're an entrepreneur, it's very hard to be, to respect your own methods of doing things. And so you're going from one place to another, and you're trying to do this and you're trying to do this other thing. And so basically, what I'm just trying to do is be as organized as I can using all the available tools that are out there, whether you want to call it GPT or you want to call it, all these different tools to keep track of the property. So that's really what I'm trying to do. It's just be organized. I, when I ran the property management company Host Tonight, that I haven't mentioned the name. Host Tonight was the name of the property management company. I remember that when I was trying to raise money, one of the biggest challenges was that I didn't have my numbers in order. So I had multiple operations, 4 different countries, 14 different cities, 450 properties under management. So yeah, keeping track of those numbers was very hard from the accounting side of things and financially. So that's really what I'm trying to focus on right now, and that's the part of the entrepreneurials, learning or experiences that I acquired that I'm trying to bring into what I'm doing right now.
Mm. So, b- like, high five, man. Like, best answer ever is like staying out of my own way, being organized, and following the systems that I created. Because we are great visionaries, and sometimes we suck as our own employees. Guilty.
Exactly.
Something I work on
Exactly.
every single day. And so, when it comes to staying organized and staying present to what is most top priority in your real estate investment business, and as you grow, how do you address that siloed feeling that most entrepreneurs experience? Is like, I'm chief cook and bottle washer. I'm in this, and I am the chief and captain as well as swab the deck. So how do you kind of combat that tendency in entrepreneurship to become isolated and alone, and then have your priorities run you instead of the other way around?
Wow, that's a great question. Um,
Ah,
uh,
I'm feeling all the feels right now. Let's go. Let's open.
yeah, no, I mean, like, this is a great question because it actually makes me go back to my roots and really think about the reason why I'm doing it, why I am doing this, and the purpose of everything. And I guess it's I'm doing everything uh, because I really want to get to where I planned myself that I wanted to be 3 years ago, 10 years in the future. Um, I want to be financially free. I want to build something for, not saying generations, that's a little bit of a cliche, but a couple generations,
Right.
maybe a couple. I'm not expecting to leave generational wealth for forever. It's something it's hard. It's a little bit of a cliche, I'd say. If you don't have it, if you have it, then it's real, then it's great. Um, but I'm not afraid of doing. I'm just not afraid of being alone and being isolated and knowing that I have to do a little bit of everything. I know that I'm doing this with a purpose and hoping that good things take time. We are right now on a moment in time where, like, we see all these new generations trying to acquire wealth and become rich very easily without the struggle, without really putting any work. Social media has sold us someone else's dreams, and we got to be grounded. We gotta know, understand, and embrace the fact that good things, they take time, and you got to work for them. So that's kind of how I see things, and uh, allows me to go to sleep at night knowing that what I'm doing is the right thing, even if I have to work on, I don't know, put up a wall frame, or fix a toilet seat, or changing a bulb at a house, or uh, things that, when you become a real estate investor. I don't know if I'm a real estate investor. I'm just, hustling. Uh, you wouldn't think that you would be doing, and that's not the sexy part of things. I mean, I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. With all due respect to Tulsans, I love this place. This has become one of the nicest places that I've ever been at, and I've been around. But not sexy, when you tell your friends, especially from Colombia or the other side of the Middle East countries, like, so where do you live? They're expecting you to say, no, Los Angeles, Miami, Chicago, all these cool Austin. I say Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they make this face like, what are you doing? And so that's what really brings me back. And I say, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm
Oh,
doing.
I
And
love it. I love it.
yeah,
So Alyssa actually moved from Long Island to Pittsburgh to live a better life because you may not realize why you chose it or how you chose it, but I bet behind the scenes, you're living a reasonable life in a reasonable place. You go to the big cities in they're overpriced, they're over leveraged, and they're over governmented.
And overcrowded.
And
Sorry.
overcrowded, yeah. So, I still live in New Jersey. I'm not moving because that's where my grandkids are and I'm going to stay close. But quite frankly, if I didn't have them there, I'd be moving where life is easier. And that is
Oh yeah.
not one of the big areas. Yeah,
I think there's
100%.
And I think there's something to be said for simplicity and repeatability. So, like you said, Dan, like it's not sexy. People are like, oh, you're not living the big life. That's someone else's dream that they have sold you is the thing you should want. And I love how you've kind of reverse engineered. You're like, I know what's important to me. I'm not afraid to be alone because I'm focused on my purpose, which means you're never alone. You've always got that connection to what you're providing for the people you influence and that you impact. And also, I'm working towards what I have defined for myself. That is like the number one hurdle. And I'm just going to like high five you for that successful
Thank you.
mindset. It's
Thank you.
like most people struggle to determine what it is they actually want because they're so busy saying self-care is mani and petties, or going on vacation is going someplace glamorous where I don't have to do anything. Lifestyle with purposeful work creates meaning. And so I mean, this has been a fantastic interview. I am so excited to get to know you and also to kind of see where your head is at, because I think it's inspirational for people to understand real estate investments are a business in and of themselves. That entrepreneurial mindset and the things that you have to address inside yourself are the most important growth you will ever address. So as we're wrapping up this interview, I'd love for you to share with us a recent win from your journey and then what you kind of have in the works in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, what I have working right now, I'm actually in Tulsa as we speak. And I actually have to get ready in a few minutes because I need to meet up with my agent. We're going to be looking at houses. I'm going to start doing flips. This is I feel like what I believe is the next step in my real estate journey. Buying properties and hold them and seeing that value and having tenants is great. But I also want to embark on the whole flipping burrs strategy. So I'm meeting with my agent. We're going to be seeing a few houses, and hopefully, before I have to go back to Colombia for the holidays, I'll be able to close in at least one more deal before the end of the year. So that's in the works. Next year, I have a plan to keep on growing, and the plan is to buy at least 3 to 4 houses every year from here until the next 7 to 10 years. The beginning, I thought it was going to be a 10-year plan. It's been 3 years of that plan. I'm not really that behind my plan, but I think that I want to speed up on that plan a little bit more and be a little bit more aggressive, which is great. I
Awesome.
mean, if looking back, if I was to think that I would have 5 properties right now, that's something that I would never imagine. So, in only 3 years. So, yeah, that's a little bit of the plan.
I love it. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your tips with us. If people would like to connect with you and learn more, what should they do?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. My handle is Daniel Zamata, name and last name all together. And if you have any questions or anyone wants to just reach out, that's the best way to do it.
Beautiful, man. You have been introduced to Dan firsthand here, learned a little bit about who he is, how he does things. You're an inspiration to people who are just getting started and starting to build that long-term legacy plan and then put fire on it so that accelerant on it so they can really fan the flames of that success. Thanks a million for being here with us today. If you are listening to this on the broadcast, don't go away. We have another amazing guest lined up for you right after this.
This wraps another episode of Built for This. If you're a real estate investor with a unique edge, apply to join us at builtforthisshow.com/guest.